White Lightning! Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh my Jesus. Alternative evolution turned the Blue Eyes into an alternative Blue Eyes White Dragon, which could once per turn destroy any monster on the field, then it can't attack. Shokan into Vermilion. Whites don't add a Blue Eyes. Ancients, add back alternative White Dragon. No, no. Reveals Blue Eyes White Dragon to resummon alternative White Dragon to again destroy another card, then summon Cosmo Brain, then tribute off the alternative White Dragon for a Blue Eyes White Dragon. Nyx scoops it. Whoa, that was Poogers.
Salutations fam, Darkslayer Arim here, and in today's video I am going to be going over my new Blue Eyes list that I used to participate in the last Meta Weekly, and basically the kind of idea I've been working with for the last month or so, I guess. It's like an idea that I've been kind of like fine-tuning, and it is basically what I consider to be like the optimal ratio for Blue Eyes right now. It's making use of the Dawn Knight engine, the Consonance engine, while also making use of like Cosmo Brain and anything, but not really using the Cosmo Brain engine. We're running like Lava Golem. So Lava Golem, Econ, Silver's Cry, like these are just general tech cards, like Spear Karibo. These are things that are your techs. You can side these out based on whatever matchup you're expecting to play against, but this is, the main deck that I like most in the current meta. Running, 3 White Stone of Ancients, 1 White Stone of Legend. I like White Stone of Legend because it enables combos that I wouldn't be able to do otherwise. It adds consistency to cards of Consonance, allowing me to draw 2 cards more often. And basically it just helps it so that I don't have to draw broken hands, like I don't have to open broken hands all the time, and it adds consistency to the deck because it allows me to draw into those broken hands. And then you also have Dawn Knight, which also adds the consistency. Typically a typical duel, give or take, will be turn 1 you set Dawn Knight, then after they swing in, and then it's like your next turn after you thin out the deck, you activate Cards of Consonance, you draw 2 cards, and then pretty much you'll be able to set up your combos from there. Basically, the thing about Cards of Consonance, while drawing 2 cards is really good, there is actually a lot of situations where you don't want to draw a bunch of cards initially. Like, okay, so to put it into perspective, on like turn 1, you typically don't want to draw a bunch of cards. Because, like, for example, if you activate Cards of Consonance before you've gotten the chance to, like, thin the deck and get the Blue Eyes out of the deck, you run the risk of drawing into the Blue Eyes, and then the issue with that is that because you're not running as many of them in order to avoid breaking by drawing Blue Eyes, if you have, like, something like Ancient Stones, but you've drawn into all the Blue Eyes, Ancient Stones will no longer be able to summon a Blue Eyes from the deck. So typically on turn 1, if you do have Cards of Consonance, but you also have like a turn 1 play you can have, so like let's say your opening hand on turn 1 is something like Dawn Knight, Econ, or Spear Karibo, and then you have Consonance and then a Stone. You want to set the Dawn Knight, set your Econ, and then, wait until the next turn, and then after they've swung into your Dawn Knight and you thin the deck and like, taken some of the Blue Eyes out of the deck, then you go ahead and activate your Cards of Consonance and draw further into the deck to see the rest of your combo pieces. As far as the extra deck, it's mostly just filler. The only things that I really would say are kind of necessary for the strategy are Vermilion Dragon Mech. Vermilion Dragon Mech is a must for this strategy because part of the kind of appeal of the deck is the alternative into Vermilion combo and then resummon alternative. So you need Vermilion Dragon Mech. I would say Armades is still very much a staple in the deck, but he's not as important. The rest of these cards are just like the cards that I personally run in the current meta. Angel of Zera is from the selection box, will still be available for like another week or so, give or take. If you don't have him, if you don't have any of these cards, you can replace them with like Cloud Castle, Gigantic Castle, Stardust Dragon, Samsara. Basically just fill up your extra deck until you have 6 cards, but make sure you have Vermilion Dragon Mech. Deep Eyes White Dragon is a good replacement for Keeper of the Shrine if you don't have him. So Deep Eyes White Dragon is DSOD Kaiba's level 30 reward. So if you don't have Keeper of the Shrine, you can grind for Deep Eyes and it's a solid replacement. But yeah, it's like the rest of the deck is pretty self-explanatory if you play Blue Eyes. So yeah, enjoy the rest of the matches. Move this a little closer so you can see me. Alrighty, so going to have a typical Blue Eyes turn 1, set 1 pass. Gonna activate Necro Valley. He probably has an idea, you know, I am playing Kaiba. People see Kaiba, set 1 pass, they're like, okay, it's probably Blue Eyes. I draw into the Keeper, going to Synchro Shokan. Gonna go into the Keeper, Synchro Shokan, into Armades, going to swing over his monster. He's going to activate Necro Valley Temple, which is going to give his Gravekeeper monsters a boost so long as Necro Valley is on the field. Necro Valley does not prevent Ancient Stone from activating in the graveyard, allowing me to special summon Dragon Spirit of White onto the field in end phase, banishing his Necro Valley. He has another one in his hand, activates it immediately, ends his turn. I summon a White Stone, Econ Take. Going to take his monster. We're going to swing in with Armades, get some damage in, and then swing in with the Gravekeeper. And then we're going to end the turn. Now, to bring some context onto this, the reason why I didn't attack with the Dragon Spirit is because I can't, you know, like with the attack with the Gravekeeper, I'm not forcing him to activate a Drowning Mirror Force if he has it. So with, you know, I want to put myself in a situation where I'm still fine, because if he activated the Drowning Mirror Force on the Gravekeeper attack, he is forced to like get rid of all his monsters. Actually, he has no cards in his hand, so if he doesn't draw into a monster, he's left wide open. He doesn't have the Drowning to protect himself, and the Ancient Stone that's in the graveyard is going to summon a dragon at the end of the turn anyway. So, continuing on, summon the Blue Eyes White Dragon. Look at that beautiful, beautiful cutscene. Blue Eyes White Dragon. So, summon the Blue Eyes White Dragon. He's going to draw. I believe that's going to be it. He didn't draw a monster, so definitely would have been game if, you know, what happened. Going to take his monster again, swing in with Armades, go for lethal. Going to open Cards of Consonance. It's his turn. We're going to draw. He's going to activate the Polymerization. Going to fuse into a Dark Cavalry. Turn 1. This card will enable him to negate any card that targets if he has cards in his hand. Because he doesn't have anything in his hand, it is not active right now. Going to Cards of Consonance, draw 2. Then we're going to summon the Cosmo Brain. Activate the Silver's Cry. Summon the Dragon Spirit of White. Target the back row card. Turns out it's an Econ. He's going to target the Cosmo Brain, put it into defense position. Going to tribute off the Cosmo Brain, summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon to the field, and then just to flex, we're going to Alternative Evolution. We're going to activate Enemy Controller. We're going to take his monster. We're going to swing with Dark Cavalry and Alternative Blue Eyes. 1 turn. OTK. That's it. Alright, so we are opening up Cards of Consonance, Silver Scry, Lava Golem, and Dawn Knight. Going to be having some Fortune Ladies. This is one of my sets from the Metal Weekly. Going to Fortune Lady Water, Fortune Lady Pass, Going to immediately Synchro Shokan. Going to summon Scrap Dragon, set some back row, and end the turn. Going to draw, set a Dawn Knight, pass. Gonna activate the Scrap Dragon, pop the monster, pop the card. So, interesting thing about this, typically in this scenario, you know, a lot of Blue Eyes players run Keeper of the Shrine. If I set an Ancient Stone and they want to swing over it, they have to first attack into the stone, and if it doesn't get flipped face up, the Keeper does not get summoned. So this is why they made that decision to play around the face down card. What? Going to destroy my Dawn Knight, going to swing over me. It's not threatening lethal, so I let it go through. No need to activate the Spirit Karibo. At the end of the turn, Whitestone the Ancient is going to activate, going to banish a back row card. It turns out to be a Canadia. My monster gets flipped face down. Now, we draw, we rip into an Econ, going to activate it, going to tribute my monster, take his monster, then we're going to activate the Silver's Cry. We're going to special summon the Dragon Spirit of White from the graveyard, banish the back row card. It was a Drowning Mirror Force. We have lethal, opponent scoops. Alright, so we are moving into game 2, going to open Whitestone, Enemy Controller, Cosmo Rain, and Silver's Cry. My opponent is once again going first. They're going to set up their board, set the face down card, not going to do anything. Going to draw into a Dawn Knight, set Dawn Knight, set the Econ, end the turn. We're going to see what they do. Going to summon the Fortune Lady, win, flip it face up, time passes. Set it up, they're going to Synchro Shokan, going to summon a Fortune Lady Every. Fortune Lady Every in defense, going to end the turn because they know I'm playing Blue Eyes, they know they don't want to swing into my stuff. Going to Econ, take the force them to send my card to the graveyard, force my monster into the graveyard. Now, end of the turn, I'm summoning a Dragon Spirit of White onto the field. Going to target, once again, it's a Canadia. Gets banished, going to draw into a Blue Eyes White Dragon. Going to summon Synchro Shokan, we get Vermilion Dragon Mech. Then we're going to banish, pop a monster. Then we're going to activate Silver's Cry, bring back the Dragon Spirit of White, and we're going to banish once again the back row. Then we're going to attack for lethal with Dragon Spirit of White and Vermilion Dragon Mech. That's going to be the end of the game and the end of the set as a 2-0 victory.